I would have loved to introduce Taboo Talks for the very first time in a different way, and not necessarily a different setting, because there's going to be a lot of recordings that's recorded from this area here that I'm recording in right now. But I saw something and I said, I really have to just make a video on this, like, right now. Like, it's at the point where I have to just stop everything and do this right now. I'm trying to prop this right in such a way where y'all can kind of see me a little bit. And I'm just really disappointed. So here I am on my computer, uploading my YouTube shorts that I'm making in here and doing little stuff I'm doing. And I noticed a vast, and I have to just call it out because this is what it is. And what they have for me now, because I subscribe, is a 4 security trends to watch in 2026. Now, let me see if I can turn this around. Let's see. Won't let me turn it around. So y'all got to excuse my area here. Look at this. You see this image right here? This is a little crystal ball. This orange with some hands, green fingernails, and an outfit, little sparkles, all this and that. This is important for you to see for a very important reason. And excuse my workspace. It is a workspace. All right. So I'm disappointed by this imagery here because I'm in the conscious spiritual community that's not religious, right? And so when I see anything like tarot, anything dealing with consciousness, energy, spirituality, in this form, I'm talking about ancient, primal spirituality. Not people saying, no, I'm spiritual, but they're actually religious. I'm talking about, no, rip all that other man-made stuff off and just to the core from the beginning of where it all started at, just normal spirituality. You doing your own thing, you being the divine source, and you doing what you do, how you do it. Right? Back to what I'm saying, though. They're using this in a way that I don't like. Okay, so it says on this, what a year. Words like vibe coding and rage baiting became mainstream. AI was in pretty much every disclosure, and some of our own disclosure came true. Deep fake driven incidents exploded worldwide. Millions of forgotten logins were compromised, and more people leaned on AI powered assistance for emotional support while we blocked billions of threats in 2025. Okay, well, look at what it is, though. And it says more are soon to emerge in 2026, some trickier than ever. First of all, and we got a few different little spots here that I'm going to point out and we're going to discuss right now. But first of all, what the hell is you talking about? You're using AI to create the image, right? And you are also, I won't say rage baiting, but you really are rubbing the spiritual, the conscious community the wrong way here. But you yourself calling out AI, but you're using AI. Okay, next screen. We go on over. It says human verification becomes the norm. All right, so yeah, that's kind of always been recently here in these past couple of years. I'm okay with it to a certain extent, and then to a certain extent I'm not, because the old ways still work. As long as you have your own creative logins, or you change them, or you do the verification, you as a person log in. You have another app, what is it, like the Microsoft authentication app. You get your code immediately, you come back. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't really even need to do the whole biometric scan. Because I feel like that's capturing data that they don't necessarily need to have. They don't have to have that. But anyway, it says so that's that. Number 2, now approaching the AI loops. Okay, so growing amount of online contents created by machines, yeah. And that's great because look at this. You've got people out here that can't even halfway spell sometimes, can't even read. Not saying nothing's wrong with that. It's limiting, but that's what we're dealing with. There's a generation for sure that the school system, how I put it, the educational system wasn't really focused on the old school ways of teaching someone how to read, how to comprehend, how to, do all these linguistic things, what you call them, phenomes, genomes, whatever, all these things where words and sounds come together, but they don't look right to even make the sound, like PH is F sound, like that. They don't have that in school a lot. Kids are just trying to do what they can. And they even are changing the whole process now. I've seen something, and that's a whole nother conversation. I'm trying to stick to what I'm talking about because I can go into different tangents. Okay? Anyway, so the feedback loops by machines, people are using that anyway, blah, blah, blah. Number 3, here's the one that really stood out, because remember there's 4 here. Scams get deep with emotional engineering. You've probably heard the term empath before. What about a dark one? These are people, and now scams, so good at understanding your feelings, then exploiting them. And I'm going to stop right here because there's another sentence after this. But first of all, what about a dark one? Wait a minute. And then these are people. So were you talking about black people here? Or what kind of people? Melanated people of all kinds? Are you calling them a scam now? Or what here? This sentence is not good. And so good at understanding your feelings, then exploiting them. As adaptive emotional engines, scams are now able to use real-time sentiment analysis to morph a con in a millisecond. Look, they've been doing this to us since the beginning of, since the beginning of television, all right? Programming is what they call it. They always do this to us. See, here you got sandwiches looking all good, glistening up. Got the bun falling down, shining. Got the leaf with a little water on it. You know what I'm saying? The burger glistening. They don't put grease and all kind of other fake stuff onto it to make this food looks better than what it is. But when you go and get you, let's say, a burger, the burger be flat, dried out, don't even look good. It's not popping like it was in the commercials. They've been doing it to us. And not only is it the optics part of it, but the second part of it is that these things actually harm us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're eating the food. It looks like food. It smells like food. It tastes like food. But when you get down to the chemical components of the food, it's not just regular ass food that it's supposed to be. It's got chemicals. It's bioengineered ingredients. They got stuff that ain't even food. Aluminum in there, plastic, other kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is what's in it today. All right? So to say somebody's scamming, we been getting scammed. We been getting conned. You know what I'm saying? One way or another when it comes to TV by itself. And these predate the AI in the way that we have it now that they're claiming has some kind of problem, right? Okay, so that's that. The next sentence, as adaptive emotional engineering, scams are now able... Okay, so I already read that. Yeah, but at the same time, we as... individuals watching this stuff, we have to make our own decisions about this. But what I don't appreciate and what I don't like is how they are meshing stuff together with the conscious community, just like the term woke. Man, the term woke has really been, I would even say the government, and I don't even know. I don't even know if it started there or where, but I did hear a government official one time using the word woke inappropriately. And I've heard other people using the word woke inappropriately. I'm like, what the hell are y'all even talking about? The stuff y'all saying woke means is not what it means. What woke means is this right here. From my understanding, and this is in my words and my explanation of what it is. Woke is someone who realizes that there's systems in place to extract their divinity, and they take control and they make you do what they want you to do and don't want you to believe and don't want you to think on your own. These people are aware of the schemes and cons and games that are being played on people that most people wouldn't be aware of because they still following along the path that was given to them by the control systems. That's the first thing. Not only that, but so it's awareness. Awareness. Some people in the woke community will respond back. You know what I'm saying? And let people know, like, hey, look, they're trying to wake others up. There's people who are aware. There's people who are trying to wake other people's up. And then there's people who ain't trying to wake nobody up. Like, look, if y'all already woke and y'all already, got your stuff going, I got something over here. You come over here and this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? And even have to reword woke because woke was so misused mishandled and abused in a way that it wasn't meant to. And that was done systematically also on purpose to keep people from wanting to be woke, to keep people from wanting to not be inside of the control systems. They don't want you to get out of the matrix. They want you to stay plugged in. And anything they can do, anything they can say, any kind of way they can try to shut something down, that's what they're going to do. That's just how it goes. And if we are not conscious enough to realize that, then that's a problem. And that's the reason why I also believe and feel that the foods are the way that they are, and the chemicals and everything else, and everything is chemically laden to try to make us as downbeat as possible to go along with the old programming and the system that was put in place. Because when you don't want to go along with the system that's in place that causes harm and keeps you from not being yourself, then that's a problem. That's a problem for them. And problems don't equal anything good. Now, back to the story, y'all. Back to the taboo talk. Taboo is talking, okay? So, scams get deep with the emotional engineering. Browsers are the new ground zero for deception. Browsers has always been that. I don't know how many letters I've had last year from doctor's offices, from big corporate places, this and that. Oh, we got hacked. We got scammed, and your information could have been this, that, and that, and the third. That's big corporations. They've got billions of dollars to protect themselves, and yet still getting scammed, still getting information stolen and compromised. So that's that on that. These are their four little tips. Let's see. And then my final closing thought. They have a little shield with the thumb in it and little sparkles. Another AI generation. It's a contradiction. They're doing what they said that they don't want you to do. Why? Because they're scaring us now. Oh, we got all these threats. We got all this stuff going on. Making it seem like it's information, but it's not. This is to try to get you to buy their defense program or invest more into it. It says, explore your app. Let me tell me my computer's protected. Good, yeah, whatever. But they're trying to get me to get the Scam Guardian Pro. Let me click on this since that's what they're trying to get it to do. You can upload an image to see if it's a scam or not. Okay, that's good. That's whatever. Email Guard. This never worked. Avast has never worked for Yahoo. I'll just say that. So if you do get it, you just know Yahoo's not one of the ones that they protect. If any, it's not that one. Trying to look. I mean, it's not expensive how much more money they want, but it was still like a little sly move on their part. And like I said, it really is not good for the spiritual community, the way they're presenting that, because psychologically it does something that is subconscious, okay? It's subconscious through the messaging and imagery that they use to discuss their little thing here. Whoever got together and thought that would be a really good idea, it's not for some of your customers. And yeah, I would just say some of your customers, because a lot of people may not just randomly see that type of ad somewhere. Okay? Let me see. So let me see, making sure I covered all my points, y'all. That's what I'm looking at now. So they warned us about emotional engineering, like commercials haven't been doing forever. They have. Smiling family, shimmering food, water splashing emotion, fear. Yep, I already touched on that, how they make things look on commercials, TV, whatever. And then the hypocrisy is, so now the threat becomes individuals have access to the same tools institutions have always been using. Interesting timing. They don't want us to have the same things they've been having to. And then here's the thing, here's the twist. There are some scammers, and I'm not saying there aren't any, but it's a fine line between people who are actually using the tools, the same tools that institutions have been using in a positive way, a conscious way, intentional way for positive and not harm. And yet we have this going on right here. Don't mix empathy with exploitation. Don't pathologize intuition. Emotional awareness isn't malware. So I want to make sure I've clearly stated that. For the projection, the article warns about the emotional manipulation. Is emotionally manipulating us for fear, symbolism, urgency, then selling protection. They doing what they said they don't want nobody to do, or that we shouldn't be doing. And AI isn't the villain. Dependency without discernment is. The solution isn't more verification, it's more self-trust. So when power warns you about manipulation, check who's losing the control. That's what I want y'all to really pay attention to in this particular taboo talk. Making sure I went through everything, y'all. Just taking a look. All right. So 5 closing points, y'all. Emotional manipulation didn't start with AI. 2, it just stopped being exclusive. 3, empathy is not a threat. 4, projection always tells the truth. And 5, discernment is greater than fear. Okay? Just making sure I got everything, and I do. So guys, whenever y'all, I'm gonna just say this, whenever y'all looking at stuff, peep game. Okay? Because if you look close enough, you'll always find it. And then sometimes, and I'm gonna say this, you know how they say sheep's clothing and the wolf's hollering and all that stuff. Sometimes whoever's hollering is the wolf. Okay, so everything's not always so innocent. The ones calling out could be the ones that's also perpetrating, causing the problems. But all right, y'all, I don't know if I'll reach out to a vest and let them know or not, because usually I'm kind of proactive. When I see things, I want to say something and do something about it. But then sometimes I don't, because even if you do say something to them directly, sometimes they may not make adjustments and changes. But I don't appreciate what they did, and I have to rethink some things on my side to see if I'm going to continue to subscribe to them or not for this smooth move right here. All right, y'all.